manager of a large factory. He's talking to his secretary, Miss Peters.
Do you have the list of what we're going to discuss, Miss Peters?
Yes, Mr. Baxter. Here it is.
He's discussing a meeting he's going to have with his staff. What are they going to talk about? Listen and repeat.
Let's see.
Repeat.
First of all, the organization of the accounting department. Then, the reduction of working hours. The installation of extra telephones. And the payment of Christmas bonuses.
Answer. What are they going to talk about? About organizing the accounting department?
Yes, they're going to talk about organizing the accounting department. They're going to talk about the organization of the accounting department.
Repeat. Organizing, organization.
Then, the reduction of working hours.
What about reducing working hours? Answer. They're going to...
They're going to talk about the reduction of working hours, too. Repeat. The installation of extra telephones.
And what about installing extra telephones? They're going to...
They're going to talk about the installation of extra telephones, too. Repeat. And the payment of Christmas bonuses.
What about paying bonuses?
They're going to talk about the payment of bonuses, too. Repeat.
Listen. The meeting has already started. Mr. Baxter is discussing the location of the new plant.
I'm a little worried about the location of the plant. The location is too far from the city. Can we find enough skilled workers?
Answer. Is Mr. Baxter worried about something?
Yes, he's worried about something.
Is he worried about finding workers?
Yes, he's worried about finding workers.
Are there more skilled workers near or far from the city?
There are more skilled workers near the city.
Listen.
Maybe we should build the plant closer to the city.
I don't think so, John. Other companies have plants in the same area, and they haven't had any trouble finding people. The land is much cheaper. The taxes are lower. Our profits will be larger.
Answer. Who's speaking now? Mr. Baxter or some other executive?
Some other executive is speaking now.
Does he think it's a bad location, too?
No, he doesn't think it's a bad location.
He thinks it's a good location, right?
Yes. Yes, he thinks it's a good location.
Listen,
Maybe we should build the plant closer to the city.
Other companies have plants in the area, and they haven't had any trouble finding people.
why does he think it's good? Because other companies have plants in the same area?
Yes, because other companies have plants in the same area.
Have they had any trouble finding people?
No, they haven't had any trouble finding people.
Listen,
The land is much cheaper. The taxes are lower.
answer. Where is the land cheaper? Near or far from the city?
The land is cheaper, far from the city.
The plant's going to be located far from the city, right?
Yes, the plant's going to be located far from the city.
Are the taxes higher or lower far from the city?
The taxes are lower far from the city.
The taxes are lower, and our profits will be larger.
Answer. Is it good or bad when the profits are large?
It's good when the profits are large.
How do we know what the profit is? Answer. Does the accounting department tell us?
Yes, the accounting department tells us.
What does an accountant do? Does he keep the books?
Yes, he keeps the books.
He takes care of the bookkeeping, right?
Yes, he takes care of the bookkeeping.
Listen again. One of the other executives is asking Mr. Baxter a question.
When can the construction begin, John?
Well, the builders say they have to wait until spring, but they already have a team of architects working on plans and looking at the area.
Answer. Can they begin construction right away?
No, they can't begin construction right away.
They have to wait until spring, right?
Yes, they have to wait until spring.
Listen, Mr. Baxter said something about architects.
They already have a team of architects working on plans and looking at the area.
Answer. Is there just one architect or is there a team of architects?
There's a team of architects.
And what are they doing? Building the plant or working on plans?
They're working on plans.
The builders say they'll probably be able to start in early May. I suggest we give them a final okay.
I agree.
It sounds like a good deal to me.
Can't start
Great.
something like
Great.
this.
Well, do all the executives agree?
Yes, they all agree.
Do they agree that the location is a good one?
Yes, they agree that the location is a good one.
Listen, Mr. Baxter is going to end the meeting.
I suggest that we prepare a complete report with all the details about construction costs, the supply of skilled workers, taxes, and the rest. We can meet here in about 1 month and give the final okay to the builder at that time, if everything still looks all right.
Answer. Does Mr. Baxter want to give the final okay today?
No, he doesn't want to give the final okay today.
What does he want to do? Prepare a report?
Yes, he wants to prepare a report.
I suggest that we prepare a complete report with all the details about construction costs, the supply of skilled workers, taxes, and the rest.
Answer. Does he want to discuss construction costs in the report?
Yes, he wants to discuss construction costs in the report.
He wants to discuss the supply of skilled workers too, right?
Yes, he wants to discuss the supply of skilled workers too.
And what about taxes? Will they be discussed in the report too?
Yes, they'll be discussed in the report too.
Okay, let's do it that way. We'll meet here in 1 month, and each of us will take care of one part of the report.
Very good.
Is Mr. Baxter going to write the whole report himself?
No, he's not going to write the whole report himself.
Is each executive going to do one part?
Yes, each executive is going to do one part.
Listen.
Well, thank you very much. And now, let's go to lunch.
Answer. Is the conference over now?
Yes, it's over now.
Are the executives going home now or to lunch?
They're going to lunch now.
That's right. About 3 weeks after this meeting, the report was finished. They all agreed that construction should start as soon as possible. Listen to one part of the report. Listen and repeat.
The taxes are lower. Other companies do find employees in the area. And our present plant is much too small. We have received an offer from the construction company. And we have accepted it. It is the opinion of the directors that construction should begin as soon as possible.
Well, I guess that's it. The company is going to have a new plant. Congratulations. And this is the end of tape 9. Tape 10. Exercise. Miss Smith works in a department store. Repeat. But she's not a good worker. Repeat.
She's a bad worker.
Repeat. Good, bad. Correct, incorrect. Her typing isn't correct. Answer. Her typing is...
Her typing is incorrect.
Miss Smith doesn't do careful work. Answer. She does...
She does careless work.
She doesn't like her job. She
dislikes her job.
Miss Smith isn't a polite person. She's
She's an impolite person.
Her boss isn't satisfied with her. He's
dissatisfied with her.
Miss Smith isn't a useful employee. What is she?
She's a useless employee.
Very good. And now, exercise 2. Miss Roberts is another secretary at the same department store. But Miss Roberts is different. Miss Roberts is a good worker. Repeat.
She works well.
Her explanations are clear. Answer. She explains.
She explains clearly.
Her spelling is correct. She
spells correctly.
Her answers are polite. And she
answers politely.
Her replies are intelligent. How does she reply?
She replies intelligently.
Very good. And now, let's listen to Miss Roberts at work in the department store. Listen, she's answering a telephone call.
Springfield's department store. Good afternoon. Miss Roberts speaking. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Yes. You want to make a complaint? Of course, sir.
Answer. Is Miss Roberts speaking to a man or a woman?
She's speaking to a man.
Does the man want to make a complaint?
Yes, he wants to make a complaint.
Is Miss Roberts going to help him?
Yes, she's going to help him.
Does Miss Roberts work for the department store?
Yes, she works for the department store.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. You bought a suit? 2 months ago? Yes, sir. And it hasn't been delivered yet?
Answer. What's the man complaining about? A suit or an overcoat?
He's complaining about a suit.
How long ago did he buy it? 2 months ago or 2 years ago?
He bought it 2 months ago.
Has it been delivered yet?
No, it hasn't been delivered yet.
Listen again.
I'm very sorry, sir. Have you spoken to the salesman? No, you haven't? You can't get him on the phone? Do you know his name?
Answer. What does Miss Roberts want to know now? The salesman's name?
Yes, she wants to know the salesman's name.
What salesman? The one who sold the suit?
Yes, the one who sold the suit.
What suit? The one that hasn't been delivered yet?
Yes, the one that hasn't been delivered yet.
The salesman's name. Do you have the name? Mr. Young. Yes. Well, there was a Mr. Young here, but he doesn't work here anymore. That's right. He left about a month ago.
Answer. Who's Mr. Young? Was he the salesman?
Yes, he was the salesman.
Does he still work at the store?
No, he doesn't work there anymore.
But he used to work there, right?
Yes, he used to work there.
When did he leave? A month ago or a year ago?
He left a month ago.
That's right. I'm sorry. Mr. Young doesn't work here anymore. But let me take your name and the date when you bought the suit, and maybe I can do something. Uh-huh. Mr. Porter. Porter.
Answer. What's the man's last name? Is it Morgan or Porter?
It's Porter.
Is that the man who bought the suit?
Yes, that's the man who bought the suit.
That's the man who bought the suit that wasn't delivered, right?
Yes, that's the man who bought the suit that wasn't delivered.
Yes, Mr. Porter. And when did you buy the suit? April 24th? Very good. April 24th. And what kind of suit was it? Silk? Yes, a gray silk suit.
Answer. What kind of suit was it? A wool suit?
No, it wasn't a wool suit.
It was a silk suit, right?
Yes, it was a silk suit.
Was it a brown silk suit or a gray silk suit?
It was a gray silk suit.
Mr. Porter bought a gray silk suit on April 24th, right?
Yes, he bought a gray silk suit on April 24th.
Tell me, Mr. Porter, did the suit need any alterations? It did. Well, that could be the answer, Mr. Porter.
Answer. Did Mr. Porter's suit need any alterations?
Yes, it needed some alterations.
Who makes the alterations? The salesman or the tailor?
The tailor makes the alterations.
The tailor's the person who makes the alterations, right?
Yes, he's the person who makes the alterations.
The tailors have been on strike for 3 weeks. Yes, the tailors. The tailors' union is on strike. That's probably why the suit hasn't been delivered.
Answer. Who's on strike? The tailors or the salesman?
The tailors are on strike.
A strike is when the members of a union refuse to work, right?
Yes, a strike is when the members of a union refuse to work.
The tailors have a union, right?
Yes, the tailors have a union.
Then the tailors aren't making the alterations on Mr. Porter's suit?
No, they aren't making the alterations on Mr. Porter's suit.
That's probably why it hasn't been delivered, right?
Yes, that's probably why it hasn't been delivered.
Let me check on this for you. I'm going to check whether the alterations have been made or not. Yes, and I'll call you back and let you know definitely when you can expect delivery.
Answer. Is Miss Roberts going to call back?
Yes, she's going to call back.
She's going to check if the alterations have been made, right?
Yes, she's going to check if the alterations have been made.
And is she going to let Mr. Porter know about the suit?
Yes, she's going to let him know about the suit.
Very good. Thank you for calling, Mr. Porter. Goodbye.
Well, that was Mr. Porter's call. And now, let's see what happened later. A week after Mr. Porter's call to the department store, he received a letter from Miss Roberts. Listen and repeat.
Dear Mr. Porter,
Repeat. Dear Mr. Porter,
thank you for your phone call last week. I said I would call you, but I wanted to write instead. In order to apologize for all the trouble. Your suit was finished before the strike began. I am sending it out to you today. You should have it in a few days. Please accept my apology for the delay in delivery. I hope we can continue to serve you. Kindest regards, Nancy Roberts, Customer Service Department.
thank you, Miss Roberts. Let's hope Mr. Porter gets his suit soon. This is the end of tape 10.
It's a cat. Dee-dum, dee-dum, dee-dum.
I wish I understood American football better. It must be a good game. There's a lot of noise.
Mother, come over here. This must be a television show. It sounds great. Paul, do you think we could have a pet too?
This is really a sight. Just look at the three of you. Everybody's listening at a different wall.
Yes, it's a funny way to get to know the neighbors. Now I'm sorry I didn't know how thin the walls were the other day.
Don't forget what a nice apartment this is in many ways. It's clean, big, and we didn't need to have it repainted.
That's right. And I think we'll have some very interesting neighbors. Exercise 31. The next door neighbor. This is Friday, Elizabeth, and time for cleaning up. That's fine with me, Mother. What can I use to clean with? There were a few old shirts here in this closet. That is, there used to be. I think Charles must have used them all to shine his shoes. Mrs. Blake goes to answer the door. Hello, Mrs. Blake. I'm Mrs. Owens from next door. I heard from the superintendent that you would be moving in this week, and I came to see if I could help. That's so nice of you. Please come in. This is my daughter, Elizabeth. Elizabeth, Mrs. Owens, our next-door neighbor. My, what a pretty apartment. And how nicely you fixed it up. In so short a time, too. How long have you been here? Tomorrow we'd have been here a week. But we've been in the city nearly a month. Mrs. Owens, I'm sorry I can't give you anything to drink. I'm still not used to the neighborhood, and I haven't found my way around all the stores. Please, don't mention it. I know how difficult it can be in a new neighborhood. I wasn't sure you would have unpacked yet, so I brought you some tea bags and instant coffee. How kind of you. Elizabeth, please warm up some water, and we'll have coffee. Instant coffee, tea bags. This is certainly convenient. I think you'll like the supermarket, too. It's just around the corner, and it's just the place for all kinds of frozen foods and canned goods. That's wonderful. But where do I buy meat, eggs, and vegetables? Why, you can buy everything at the supermarket. Of course, there are also several little stores nearby. They are more expensive, but sometimes they're nice for things like the fresh bread at the bakery. And the delicatessen is open on Sundays. Here are the cups and hot water. And here's the tea and coffee. A toast to America. Instant coffee, frozen food, and can openers. And such very nice neighbors. Exercise 36. Was there enough material? An American tourist came back from England with a length of beautiful English cloth. He took it to a tailor and asked,
Is there enough material for me to have a suit made? No, I'm afraid not,
was the reply. The tourist was disappointed and rather annoyed because the man who had sold him the cloth said there would be plenty for a suit. He left the shop and decided he would give the material to his sister so that she could get a suit made for his young nephew. On the way home, however, he saw another tailor's shop and thought he would try again, as the first tailor might have been mistaken. The second tailor looked at the material, said there seemed to be enough, measured him to make sure, and then said he would have the suit ready in a week's time. So a week later, the American went back, tried on the suit, and found it fit very well indeed. He paid and was just on his way out when the tailor's 5-year-old son came in, wearing a suit of exactly the same cloth as the tourist's.
Tell me the truth.
Said the tourist angrily.
You made that suit from my material.
The tailor didn't try to lie.
You're right,
he said.
I made my son a suit from the material left over.
He apologized, but then said,
There wasn't enough material to be any use to you.
The tourist was still angry, but what was done was done. Then he remembered what the first tailor had said. He thought he would teach him a lesson and went back to the shop.
Do you remember telling me there wasn't enough material to make me a suit? Well, you don't know much about your job. Another tailor not only managed to make me a suit, but he had enough cloth left over to make a suit for his 5-year-old son.
So what?
Replied the tailor.
My son is 16.
Exercise 38. The housewarming. It is Sunday afternoon, and the Blakes are waiting for their guests to arrive.
Well, we have everything, don't we? Enough ice, glasses.
Yes, I think so. And the children have been making sandwiches and cutting cheese and cake.
I'm sure everything will be just fine. I think I hear someone outside. I'll go open the door. How nice to see you all.
Come in, won't you? Elizabeth, please take their coats.
Now, what would you like to drink?
Would you like something, Mrs. Hudson? Hi, Edward. Here, Edward. Charles, I bought drinks for all of us. Let's go to the living room.
Claire, I'd like you to meet Mr. and Mrs. King. He works with me at the bank.
I'm so glad to meet you. I've heard so much about you already from Bob. I've been looking forward to meeting you too, Mrs. Blake. Your husband said you were looking for some furniture, and I know a very nice store if you'd like to come with me sometime.
You see, next week is our anniversary.
We will have been married for 15 years.
And I'm giving her a credit card. I think she wants to see if it works.
What a wonderful idea. Don't you think so, Bob?
Maybe a little too convenient, I'm afraid, but I'll think it over.
I'll call you tomorrow and we can make an appointment. All right? That's very nice of you. Father, I've just met the nicest girl. And know what? She wants to take me shopping tomorrow.
And know what? She has her own credit card.
How did you know?
For a grown-up, Elizabeth, your father is a very intelligent man. I'm learning. One daughter plus one wife equals 2 credit cards.
Thank you, Bob. Oh, thank you, Father. We'll buy something for you. The very first thing. Exercise 42. Nothing is certain but death and taxes.
A funny thing happened today, Claire. I got my first paycheck, and it was so small that I wasn't sure if it was mine.
What do you mean?
So much money was taken out. United States income tax, New York state tax, New York city tax, then money for retirement, hospitalization, pension. I thought the computer had made a mistake, but it's all in order.
Oh dear, then even if we wanted to, we couldn't save much this month.
I'm afraid not. And it's all so hard to understand. I was told that I'd have to file an income tax return too in April.
What? Still more taxes? What a life. I say, a funny thing happened to me today too. I went to buy a dress that I'd seen advertised in the paper for $25. I gave the salesgirl $25 and started to leave with my package. But she called me back.
Why? Had she given you the wrong size?
No, I'd forgotten the city tax. That dress cost me another $1.50.
I often make that mistake myself. What one pays is always more than the price shown.
Well, the old saying is certainly right. Nothing is certain but death and taxes. Exercise 45. The new telephone. Oh, hello, Mrs. Blake. Please come in. Thank you. If it isn't any trouble, may I use your phone? Bob suggested that we apply for a phone as soon as possible, since it will be so long before it is installed. It's no trouble at all. You know, you can have a phone connected within a few days, usually. Really? That's good news. I was afraid we'd have to wait several weeks or even months. Would you also know how much more it would cost to have our own phone instead of a party line? Party line? In the country, some people have party lines, but here in the city, they're most unusual. How nice. Elizabeth will be so happy. You and Mr. Blake can still make your calls here. With a teenager in the house, you won't be able to get near that new phone. We've thought of that already. In fact, we're thinking of having 2 phones put in. Exercise 48. I don't care. The Blakes are listening to the news on the radio while eating breakfast. More bacon, Bob?
No thanks, but I will have another piece of toast.
And because of the heavy snow last night, all subways will be 10 to 15 minutes late this morning.
In that case, I ought to leave early. I won't have time to wait for that toast, Claire.
It doesn't matter. I'll eat it myself.
And all schools will be closed today.
That's wonderful. Now I can finish my schoolwork.
I want to be an
Charles, why do you look so unhappy? Aren't you pleased there's no school today? I don't care. The snow came too late. We had our spelling test yesterday. Exercise 59. He can see you now. Mr. Blake is waiting outside Mr. Parker's office. Won't you go in, Mr. Blake? Mr. Parker can see you now.
Thank you. How do you do, sir? It's a pleasure to meet you.
Well, I'm glad to meet you too, Mr. Blake. Please sit down.
The company is very happy to have you with us, Bob. May I call you Bob?
Of course. Well, Bob, as you know, we're planning to open another European bank in Bonn. To begin with, what we'd like from you is a report on the London and Paris banks where you have worked, their working conditions, rates on savings accounts, any new machines or computers they have, that sort of thing. And we'd also like your opinions and suggestions for introducing new policies and projects here.
Fine. I'll get to work on that this afternoon. The London bank was doing very well when I left, and I think I learned a lot there that we can use here.
Excellent. If you can have the report on my desk early next week, perhaps we can discuss it over lunch. Glad to have met you, Bob. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Mr. Parker. I'll see you next week.
Exercise 61. A letter of complaint.
"568 Cummings Avenue, Westport, New Brunswick, February 18th. Springfield's Department Store, 500 East Graham Street, Westport, New Brunswick. Attention, Manager, Accounts Department. Sir, I am very sorry to have to inform you that I must close my charge account with you. With this letter, I am returning my 2 charge cards. I have been very dissatisfied with my account and your accounts department for several months. When I opened the account, I was told that there would not be any service charges if I paid my bills before the 15th of the month. But your department makes this impossible for me because I never receive your bill before the 15th, or even later than the 15th. I have been very annoyed about having to pay a service charge for the last 4 months because of your mistake, and this in spite of several calls from my wife and me. I must say that after having been a good customer for more than 4 years, I am very disappointed with Springfield's. Also, my wife informs me that the last time she called to complain on the 10th, your people were very impolite. One woman even hung up in the middle of the call. I suggest that you check to see how your staff answer these calls. These might seem small things to you, but when they happen over and over, they can make a person furious. Very truly yours, Roger Preston. Account number 83298364.
did you want to be when you grew up?
When you were small, your parents, your relatives, and friends of your family must often have asked you,
What do you want to be when you grow up?
most of the time you would answer,
I don't know.
sometimes, because someone in your family was a doctor or a lawyer, you would reply,
I want to be a lawyer or a doctor.
or, just to be difficult,
Don't want to be a doctor or a lawyer.
whatever answer you gave, there is a pretty good chance that you are doing something completely different today. Most adults expect little boys to say,
I want to be an airplane pilot.
or,
I want to be president of the United States.
and the girls will say,
I want to be a nurse.
but things are changing now. One often finds women doing jobs that people would never have dreamed of being done by women 20 or even 10 years ago. As time goes on, some occupations will disappear because of automation. More and more highly skilled technicians will be needed.
Exercise 75. Young Abe Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln was the 16th President of the United States of America. He is remembered for having guided the country through the Civil War and having kept the states together. During the years Lincoln was president, paper money was used for the first time, free mail delivery was begun, and the telegraph connections from the eastern United States to California were finished. Even as a boy, Abe was very tall and thin. His mother often said that she didn't mind if he brought dirt into the house on his feet because she could wash the floor. But, she joked, he had better keep his head clean or he would get dirt on the ceiling which he couldn't get to with her brush. One day, Abe asked some neighbor boys to walk barefoot through the mud. Then, one by one, he carried the boys into the house upside down and walked them across the ceiling. When his mother came home, she saw the muddy footprints across the white ceiling. Laughing, she said,
Abe, I really should spank you.
Of course, he was much too big to be spanked. They both laughed at his joke, and then Abe washed the ceiling till it was clean and shining again. Lincoln was a hard-working young man who was often employed by the neighbors to cut firewood or work in their fields. He also had a job as a clerk in a general store. Many new customers came to the store to joke and talk with Abe. He was also polite, friendly, and helpful. One day, a woman came into the store with a long list of things to buy. Abe brought out the goods and wrapped them. The woman thanked him and quickly paid the bill. She was in a hurry and left the store as soon as Abe had given her the change. It wasn't until later that day that he realized that he had, by accident, shortchanged the woman. Abe decided to close the store, and he started out to return the money. He walked mile after mile until he came to her house.
Why, Abe,
The woman said in surprise.
what brings you here?
I came to give you the rest of your change, said Abe, showing her the money.
I didn't realize until you had left that I shortchanged you,
Thank you, Abe.
she said.
But it's only 2 cents. Surely you could have waited until I shopped again.
No, said Lincoln. The money was yours, and I shouldn't have made the mistake. The woman thanked him again, and Abe started on his long walk home. We have now reached the end of tape 22, the last tape in this program. I hope you've enjoyed this final test, this final check on your English. Were you able to understand everything? If so, you can be proud of yourself. And now, thank you for following us to the end of this program. Thank you and congratulations.